Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Swedish A29B sitting at 8.0 battle rating. Wow, this plane, man. Blood, sweat and tears. And that is not an exaggeration. I don't really think these J or JA29s in this case are really good. They are actually below par and they are difficult to get to perform. Now I'm sure there are some jet pilots out there who are specialized in jets, fly them all the time, are completely used to the aim and say, well, I get 2, 3, 4 kills in this thing every match and it's fantastic. Actually, I don't think they will say it's fantastic because it's not. And they know as well as we do that if they would fly any other plane, they would beat themselves. I'm not sure any other plane. Maybe maybe there's a few out there which are less good than this one. But this plane definitely doesn't help you to perform, and it's really a shame because it looks pretty interesting, short stubby bugger. But yeah, it's not that great, and it doesn't shine in anything. That's the problem, and you need something that you're good at in jet fighting that you can turn to when the guards get stacked against you. You need something in which you excel, and this plane doesn't excel in anything. It gets decent in most things, but if it even reaches that, it is yeah, it is substantially lacking. A jack of all trades that is not good in anything. Well, anyway, before I talk this plane completely into the ground, you can still get a kill here or there and get to the tree, and that's the most important thing, get to rank 6, because from what I've heard, that's a lot better than rank 5, and that's a good thing. I would focus on the vampire, but yeah, we'll save that for some other video. The maximum speed in this plane is 1003 at sea level, 779 at 4500 meters, and 686 kilometers an hour at 6500 meters. This is an indicated airspeed, by the way. So that is that. This plane does not have an afterburner, so it doesn't have an performance increase when you need it as well. The top speed in a dive in this plane is 1047 kilometers an hour before she redlines, and 1100 plus before she rips apart. I did not manage to rip it. If it has anything going for it, it is that it doesn't rip very easily or quickly, and that is a nice thing to have, but that's about the only thing that this plane has that is something of note, something worthy to mention. Now my aim, of course, is not the best. I could have had a few more kills in this plane here and there. What also doesn't work is that you get a lot of hits and crits and no finishing touch on it. And I'm not sure if that's the belt or the guns itself. The firepower in and of itself I would describe as decent, because you do have 4 20mm Ankan M47C cannons. So 4 20mm cannons is actually quite nice, with 180 rounds per gun, which is a good ammo load. You also have some different rocket options on this plane, which you can use if you want to go ground pounding, and especially when you're stock, that might be one of the only ways to get some points on the board. But yeah, so that armament is really miss and hit sometimes. Control stiffening in this plane in a dive is first little tick at 700, but only barely noticeable. At 800 you get a second one, but the faster she is, for most jets, she performs quite nicely. She's slow below 400 kilometers an hour, slow in the roll rate, sluggish. She feels a bit like a freight train below 400. When she gets above 400 towards the 450, 500, she becomes better, and above 500 you get much better roll rate. So there's that, and then it starts to slacken off 700 and 800. But it stays fairly well, so the handling in the dive is not bad. The stall speed in the plane is 140, which is well, it's pretty average in a jet. As I said, for the firepower with the 420s, it seems okay, and the ammo loads also seem good, but I did have some hit and miss results where I was like, okay, maybe in some other, with the vampire, for example, didn't have this feeling at all. You shoot people, they are often dead, and much better results from the guns with that. Even though it's British guns, but not that bad anymore. But anyway, maybe it's just my bad aiming. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your experience was in this thing. The performance, the acceleration in a straight line is almost decent. Dive speed is almost good, a little bit better there. She does pick up the speed a little better in the dive. Energy retention in the horizontal is decent, no more than that. And in the vertical it's the same, nothing spectacular there, just somewhere between barely decent to fairly good performance there, but nothing excelling, no very good, no grades out there in this plane. When it comes to performance, it is adequate, but it is nothing more than that. And that is a shame, because most jets have something in which they excel, like horizontal energy retention, or the vertical, better, a fantastic climb rate, or the acceleration is fantastic. In a dive, brilliant handling. This plane has nothing of that. You have no specialty to go to when you are in a difficult situation, and thus this plane is very much unforgiving in the way she's flown. If you make a mistake, you're dead in this thing. The climb rate is also no more than decent, which is unfortunate. Turn time in the plane. Now this is one of the distinct downsides in the plane. She has bad turn time and below average with flaps. Only slightly better, but I would say it gets out of the bad category if you use the flaps. The flaps only rip off at 870 kilometers an hour, which is fantastic. The flaps are fantastic. They don't rip off very quickly. So as I said before, she is sturdily made, and the flaps also share this this assessment. Nothing bad with that. As I said, the roll rate bad below 400, decent between 4 and 5, and then good above 500 kilometers an hour. And then you get two small ticks at 7 and 800 in the roll rate, where she becomes a little bit less good. But yeah, that's all right. It's an all right feature of the plane. Maneuverability overall is average though, nothing spectacular. Overheating in this plane is not an issue. It cools off easily, and it is not very quick to heat up. When it does heat up a little bit, you get into the amber, just make sure to cool it off a little bit. Don't go into the red. It's not necessary in this plane. She cools off fairly quickly, so the overheating is not a problem in the plane. Overall durability and survivability is good. It can take a few hits, and she feels quite sturdy in the handling. In the dive, no rips, no easy death to get that way, so that's good. But that is very nice that it has that, because otherwise you would have to look at your own flying as well. That could potentially rip you, or get you a crash, or a wingtip. But no, you just have to look out for enemy fighters, and that's where the problem is, because as I said, many jets have an excelling area, or even 2 or 3 excelling areas where they're very good. And this plane has none of it, except maybe, as I said, the survivability and the roll rate, which are alright. But yeah, it is so lacking, this plane. I had blood, sweat, and tears in this plane, not only to get the kills, but also in defensive maneuvers and stuff like that. This is not the only plane that has a good roll rate above 500 kilometers an hour. Most jets have their good roll rates above 500, and many jets even have very good or great roll rates. So yeah, it is a strong side of the plane, but it's not spectacular compared to the other planes at 8.0 battle rating. So yeah, and the guns for 20 millimeters seems like it would be a good side of the plane, with the ammo loads also being on the good side. But I'm mixed about my appreciation of these 20 millimeters that are on this plane. And I'm not gonna put that in the definitive box. I'm not the most spectacular jet pilot. I don't fly them a lot because I have my preference set on the World War II planes, the props. I love those. I fly those the most. So, but let me know what you think about these guns. Did you have the same experience in me here, like this, where you think, okay, I'm hitting him, he should be dead, right? But it's a hit and a crit. I have to get back in for him, giving me more risk on damage by this airfield, for example. And that seems to happen a lot. You saw it a few times. Get a hit, get a crit, where you would say, okay, I was on point there. I got the shots in, and why is the plane not dying here? But all right, and it starts with a hit again here as well. Bloody hell, bastardos. But that's been my experience in the plane. It could be that that's half me, but let me know what you think about the guns on this thing. I'm very curious. Also about your experiences of this plane, the performance and stuff like that. I think it's distinctly lacking, and makes it quite average overall. We get a 2-kill match and a 3-kill match to show you here, but many of my other matches have been much worse. Blood, sweat and tears, as I said. At least there was something interesting here. Anyway, final blow. Terror of the Sky and Bulletproof, 52,000 silver lines and 13,000 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now, man, what is plane? I've had a terrible time in it. I'm at a negative kill-death ratio. I believe 11 deaths and 9 kills in 16 matches. Horrible, horrible. A lot of crits, a lot of hits in there where you think, well, I think with the Vampire I got these kills, but not with this plane. So yeah, that was distinctly disappointing after the Vampire. The Vampire was so good. 4 matches, 9 kills, 1 death, 9-to-1 kill-death ratio in the first 4 matches. And then, I mean, I get a different idea with these kind of planes. Man, is it then me or is the Vampire so good? I know the Vampire is good, by the way, but these things are distinctly average, in my opinion. There is nothing really that it shines at. And yeah, there's not much good to say about this plane. Would have to search. And then, if you look at what this plane is good at, other planes also have that, or are even better at it. So, yeah, no excelling in this plane. Distinctly average, and if you want to use it, you better use it as a support fighter coming from the fringes and helping out where you can. There is some rocket options in this plane, so you can ground pound in it, giving it some versatility, but ground pounding in jets often also isn't a very enjoyable endeavor. You often get shot down and you're weighed down by the rockets. You're less maneuverable as he was already, so it's going to be another nightmare, I think. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this plane at all. Don't fly it, just try to skip it. Stick with the Vampire and get to rank 6 because apparently that is much better for the Swedish, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.